Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. All right, what do I have for you today? All right, so this is a recording. We'll normally do it live, but I didn't want to be distracted too much. I had a brilliant day with clients today. Oh my God. You know what? People are so fascinating. What they're working on in their life, what they want to do, businesses, this, that, and the other. Why this one did this? Why this one did that, etc. Why was my mother like this? Why was the father like that? Oh, fascinating. Anyway, what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about Ghislaine Maxwell, yeah? And I'm also going to be talking about this powerful energy, this snip snip energy that I've been talking about, how it's been affecting royalties, celebrities, etc. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the AI bubble and where things are going on AI. So just to get right into it. Now, you guys will remember it didn't go out to the public. Yeah, it didn't go out to the public. I had a Ghislaine Maxwell dream. Yeah. Those of you who are a membership, you will know this already. I've spoken that I had this dream about Ghislaine, but I didn't put it out in the public. Firstly, so it's gone to membership. So if you want to see the video on that dream, what happened in my Ghislaine Maxwell dream, that is in membership. So if you want to go to membership, then what you do is you just click on my picture whenever you're seeing this, like underneath it will say like channel, whatever. Click on my face. That will take you to my channel, and then you click membership, and then you can just sign up for membership. And then you'll get access to all the content and all the videos. It's not just Ghislaine. I've got Epstein in there. I've got all sorts of people, all sorts of videos, even education about astrology and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, the important thing is that I could remember, and in this video, no, actually, no, it's not actually in this video. I remembered making a video, and turns out it was a Friday fry up. It was a Friday fry up. And it was around the time when Ghislaine was being interviewed by the DOJ. Do you remember that? Yeah, back in the summer of 2025. And I remembered that I made a video and I said, you know what? She's going to strike some kind of deal. Yeah, she's going to strike some kind of deal. And at the time now, I did the video on the July 26th. But it may have been July 25th, actually, because in the timing in the, because I often do these shows at midnight, yeah, it will click over to the next day. So it's either July 25th or July 26th, yeah. And at the time, the story, of course, going around was like, well, what's going to happen when Ghislaine Maxwell has to speak with the DOJ? And basically discuss what is going on. Yes, just so you know, we're lined up with the receipts. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm just going to take you to the page where it talks about Ghislaine meeting the DOJ. Let's just see if I can actually find the bloody. Here we are. So if we go here, I'm just going to do share, just so you can see for yourself. So just to set the context, yeah? So here we go. The US Department of Justice, DOJ, interviewed convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell over 2 days on July 24th and July 25th. Conducted by Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, you remember that, in Florida. The interviews focused on her ties to Jeffrey Epstein, with transcripts and audio released on August 22nd, 2025. Yeah. So this was basically almost a month later. So key details of the interviews include purpose, The sessions were for information gathering, during which Maxwell answered questions regarding her interactions with prominent figures, including Donald Trump and Bill Clinton. Immunity. Maxwell was granted limited immunity for the interview, although she was warned that lying to federal officials could result in prosecution. Context. The interview took place while Maxwell was serving a 20-year sentence for sex trafficking amid her efforts to overturn her conviction and discuss regarding potential presidential pardon or something like that. Yeah. Now, what we need to understand is this. Yeah. So this took place privately, 24th and 25th of July. Yeah. 24th and 25th of July. This is 2025. So of course, let me just stop the share. So of course, the public was not privy to the details of the content of what they were speaking about. In fact, the public still isn't, you know. We just have to take the DOJ's word for it. So when I made this prediction, be aware there is no way I could have possibly known the content or the details of what the DOJ would have been potentially discussing with Ghislaine Maxwell, or what agreements or not that they had. Yeah, I literally read the cards and I looked at the cards, and you'll see me gasp, yeah, with surprise. And then I'll tell you about the dream, what the dream said, and then I'll then show you a clip of how the dream was validated. Yeah, you ready? All right. So let's go to share screen again. And what you're going to see now is me pulling cards on that day while Ghislaine was being interviewed in private and trying to figure out what the outcome potentially would be of that meeting. Yeah. So I'm going to share screen. Sound is there. Yeah. All right. So just to take a look at myself. So yeah, just checking that the screen is there. Yes, it is. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand this out. And listen to it. Like, I'm just going to play, yeah, and you're just going to hear for yourself. So remember, this is July 25th/26th, 2025. Ghislaine is being interviewed 24th. She's being interviewed over 2 days, 24th to the 25th of July. This video probably was started on the 25th of July, went over to the 26th. But either way, no one at the time could have possibly known what they were discussing. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to press this. Yeah, press play. All right. Well, that's what happens when you vote for stuff like that, isn't it? So in terms of Ghislaine Maxwell, will they believe her? I don't think the odds are great, but let's just pull some clarifiers. And I've got a couple of minutes to go, and then I'll bring you guys in at the end. All right. Let's see. Ghislaine Maxwell. Oh, well, look at this. We have the Justice card. Yeah, you can see here, literally, this is legalities of all kinds, courts, judgments. This can also deal with contracts as well. When I'm reading for clients, this can also talk about legal contracts. They are going to want to get her to sign a legal agreement, but it's under the, we say undercover. I mean, the DOJ has gone there, but literally the justice, the DOJ, the Department of Justice, has gone to Ghislaine. Look at the card that comes out next. Six of Swords, which is moving to smoother waters. They're going to negotiate. She's negotiating her release, her escape. What else can this card mean? But they're also trying to what? Move Trump to smoother waters as well. They want the scandal to die down. And then here we have the Temperance card. Yeah, we got the Temperance card, which is about recalibration, rebalancing things, alchemy. So it means like they they're going to try and basically find a way. So they're either going to reduce her sentence, commute her sentence, which would effectively be a pardon, or she may even be secreted away. Either way, it looks like she's moving to smoother waters. Great cards for her. But they're trying to rebalance the situation. These people are so corrupt, aren't they? They're so corrupt. So I think with that temperance card, they're trying to rebalance. So I think that pretty much answers it there, doesn't it? So that is the hour, folks. Let's just... Right. So do you see? And I want you to remember what I said about her being spirited away. I want you to remember that. Now, obviously, that was the card read. And we all know what has transpired since. So, you know, at the time of putting that, there is no way that I could have known. I was just literally using the cards and my psychic intuition about what that meant. Yeah, what that meant. This is what happened a few days after she was interviewed by the DOJ. So I'm just going to share screen. So we established when she was interviewed. Where is the where's the bit where when did DOJ? I'm trying to find the tab. Here we are. All right, so a few days after that, look what we have here. After she was interviewed by the DOJ, and obviously after my tarot reading, Ghislaine Maxwell was moved to the federal prison camp FPC Bryan, a minimum security facility in Texas, on August 1st, 2025. The transfer occurred shortly after she met with federal officials regarding the Jeffrey Epstein case, moving from a low security facility in Florida. Details regarding the transfer location: she was moved from FC1 Tallahassee to FPC Bryan in Texas. Security level: the new facility is a minimum security club fed style camp, which is the lowest of the 5 security levels in the federal system, the lowest. Timing: the move occurred around August 1st, 2025, following meetings with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. Controversy: the move was considered unusual for a convicted sex offender and drew criticism as Bureau of Prison Policy generally restricts such placements. So you see here, preferential treatment. And you see in the reading what I said in the cards, I said they're gonna reach some kind of deal. I said she's moving. Did you see she got the 6 of Pentacles? Oh, she's moving. And then with the temperance, the recalibration, and I said she may even be spirited away. Yeah. So we know that she had a puppy in this low security facility prison. She could order DoorDash and all of this kind of stuff. Yeah. Who's to say there's even any cameras on this woman where she is? Yeah. Now, let's go back to the dream. I had a Ghislaine Maxwell dream. Oh, I can't remember the day now, but it was either the morning, it was either happening while Andy Mountbatten, formerly known as Prince, yeah, formerly Prince Andrew, but his last name is Mountbatten Windsor, so I call him, of course, Andy Mountbatten, formerly known as Prince. It happened either when he was being arrested on that morning or the day after. I can't remember now because there's so much going on and there's so many videos. The important thing is I had this dream. In the dream, Ghislaine was talking about, we were working in events. Yeah, it was like I used to work in events, and she's there chattering away, blah, blah, blah. And she's not dead because, of course, she was using speech. Yeah. People have been speculating that Epstein is still alive. He is not alive. He is definitely dead. The brother identified the body. And of course, when Epstein came to me in the dream and all of what transpired in the dream, many of you have seen it. He was using what? Energy and telepathy. That's what dead people use. Yeah, or people who are in the realm of spirit. Yeah, to actually speak requires a lot of energy. He did speak a little bit, but this is why people who if you've met angels or aliens or anyone or anything that is in the spirit realm, they will often communicate with telepathy, with energy and that kind of stuff. Yeah, they do speak. It takes a lot of energy. He did speak a little bit, but anyway, it's not about that. The important thing is this. In my Ghislaine dream, there was a bit where she was basically like, the first part of the dream was just horrific, absolutely horrific. I don't even describe too much actually in the video because it's just too much. And I had to do several light blasts in the dream to be like, enough, like, stop. I don't want to see anymore. She showed me everything, what they've been doing, the ceremonial, for entertainment purposes only. I'm not even going to get too into it. You want the details, have a look. But the important thing is that in these events that were being planned were for royal and highly established people. Yeah. And isn't it interesting? Because I was having this dream either when Andy Mountbatten was being arrested or the day after. I can't remember now. I think it may have actually corresponded with the actual time he was being arrested. I think that was actually it. Anyway, the point is that after I'd seen all of that, blah, 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 and she was talking about all the people that she knows, yeah, all of the contacts, she brought in like the high class elements, yeah, the royalty, the European kind of tranche of that collaboration, of course, that she had with Epstein. Anyway, point is this. We're on this train. Yeah, this train was hurtling through, and it was hurtling through the British countryside somewhere. So, of course, that is a metaphor for Britain. But it was also a metaphor as well for the United States as well as this energy. That's what I could sense. Anyway, she gave me a tip off. And Ghislaine told me, she said, this train is going to crash. Yeah. This train is going to crash, and basically everyone's, just going to be finished. And she said, look, but if you stand in the last carriage, that's going to break off. You'll be fine. Anyway, so sure enough, the train crashes. It's a massive, absolutely massive crash. My part of the carriage breaks off. I do these ninja moves, as you do in dreams. You can do all these extraordinary things. I do these ninja moves. I'm kind of burnt up a little, not burnt up, but like I was telling people as this dream was unfolding, I was telling people in the dream, oh my God, I just realized I've just had this dream with like Maxwell or what have you. And one of my fingers was a bit burnt, but the people hadn't even noticed that I'd been in like this train crash. A bit of smoke or steam was coming off me, but essentially I was intact. I was fine. So this train crashed, completely derailed, which also shows that these revelations of these Epstein files are going to continue to derail and crash many people's careers. The important thing to understand is this. Ghislaine was not on the train. She had escaped. In the dream, I could tell Ghislaine had escaped. And I want to show you this. I want to show you a video that's been going viral for the last 2 to 3 days, yeah? All around the world. Now remember, in the dream, yeah, she said, you jump off, blah, blah, blah. This train is going to crash, blah, blah, blah. But when they did the inventory of the train, Ghislaine wasn't there. And I knew that she was free. I'm going to show you a clip. Been going viral. There's been many different versions, but this is actually quite a good version that I found. So I'm going to play for you a video clip. I want you to see this. Hopefully I've paused it in the right place. And I'm just going to press play. Listen to this. Now this is from the Disturbing Illusion viral video, Ghislaine Maxwell seen in City Street. Is it really her? This is in Canada, by the way. Some people are saying Ontario. Some people are saying Quebec. Anyway, I'm just going to press play. Here we go. Hopefully an advert won't jump up.
Side like some noses are. Like my nose is bent off to the side. So let's play this street video one more time.
Ghislaine? Do I know you? You know Ghislaine?
No, sorry.
No? I used to order Hello Pizza off of her.
Oh, really?
She always delivered, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, bollocks. Listen up. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Ah! Ah!
I want some more!
Ah!
So he called her Ghislaine, and it does get her attention, but I think he could have said Bob, Fred, Frank, and that would have got her attention too. It's just too bad that he didn't hang out and have a deeper conversation with her and say, hey, have you heard of this woman in the news, you know, from the past 5 years named Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein? Has anybody ever told you that you look just like Ghislaine Maxwell? I mean, do you frequently get comments like that? Because while these people right here don't look like the prison.
Right. That person, whoever that is here, that was the one, yeah. That was the one that gave the deposition to, you know, the committee, the House committee, whatever. You know, she sat there, I'm Ghislaine Maxwell, blah, blah, blah. There's no way these two are the same people. Do you remember when Sheila last week, when Sheila brought this up last Hogarth, and she said, look, you know, she did the face. There is no way that that is bloody Ghislaine. No way. So let me just press play again.
Deposition photo, which comes from the prison deposition video. I'm definitely more inclined to think that this person right here looks a lot like this person in the street video. And whether you overlay an old Ghislaine face over this street video face or a young face over the street video face, you've got what looks like the same eyes. And pick any Ghislaine Maxwell photo you want. The eyes and the nose pretty much match up. The teeth, they look a little different to me, but the teeth are symmetrical and lined up with the bottom of the nose here, just like they're symmetrical and lined up with the bottom of the nose there. Is it possible that Ghislaine Maxwell has a twin sister? Is this just a doppelganger?
No, because you know what? In it is also her brother. Yeah, this guy that was over here to the other side. Let me just see, because he's talking. Let me just see if it's going to show. 1 minute.
Oh, sorry.
No? I used to order Hello Pizza off.
Right, this guy here. Let me just see. Him, that is the brother. So anyway, let me just do the stop share. Let me do the stop share there. There are other video clips, and there was one video clip that I was watching, which it went. It was done by a woman who was then sharing a clip on TikTok, and they even measured out the teeth. Everything was the same. And I remember reading in one of the comments, and they made a really good point. They say, yes, you can have a doppelganger of one person, but not usually also a doppelganger of their brother too. Yeah. Now, do you see how it all lines up? This is why I wanted to take this time to kind of bring these receipts, because of course I made the prediction at the time while this conversation was happening between Ghislaine Maxwell and the DOJ, Todd Bryant, or whatever his name, Todd whatever his face. While it was ongoing, it was private, and of course those things weren't released until like the 22nd, yeah, the 22nd of August. So no one would have known what the conversations really were about in that detail. And I said, she's got some agreement. She's going to be moved to a low security prison. And I said, she may even be spirited away. Then, of course, we see on or around the 1st of August, so only less than a week after she had that private discussion with the DOJ, she was then moved to a low security prison where she could have a puppy, DoorDash, or what have you. Then we've seen more recently, there's this deposition that apparently she gave, and it's not her. You can see, I'm sorry, that is not her. That is not her, which of course was part of the public debate, you know, last week. And then this video has shown up, which has gone viral, and you can see there the guys doing the cross comparisons, and the eyes and everything basically are exactly the same. And that also validates my dream that I had, which is what? Ghislaine was not on the train. Even if that woman is not Ghislaine Maxwell, that woman looks a hell of a lot more like Ghislaine than that woman, whoever that person was that gave that deposition to the House committee or whatever. Even you can see the hair is a wig. And they expect us to believe this stuff. Yeah. So I just wanted to share that. I mean, we live in extraordinary times, but look, why is she free? Yeah. Think about it. Ghislaine could bring down whole governments, not just people's career. We're talking about the global world order and how it's truly run. I remember Pam Bondi said the quiet part out loud. She said, oh, well, if we prosecute everyone, it's the end of everything. Yeah, the whole world will collapse. Yeah, it would. So when you've got that kind of bombshell stuff, and also as well, because these are like public depositions, etc., and all of that stuff, you can't just show up dead. Yeah, with Epstein, of course, they could, because he was infamous. But there wasn't so much of a dialogue, public discourse. He's locked up and then he's dead. Yeah. With Ghislaine, it's different. She's already, been in prison for 4 years. There's been a dialogue backwards and forwards, and then the DOJ meets her in private. So you can't just unalive her. Yeah. Because then everyone goes, oh my God. Yeah. That just makes everything that she said true. She went in there with the receipts. She went in there with not even a hand grenade, a nuclear bomb. And I think what she negotiated was, she was like, if you do not move me to that low security prison and then allow me just to slip out the back door, I will blow up the whole global system. Because she would have dirt on absolutely everyone. Epstein kept videos, the whole shebang. And it's not just that, she would have her own stuff and her own little black book as well. So globally, we are seeing the fallout of what's going on. I want to share another thing with you. I'm going to just show you some headlines of what has been transpiring since. Where was that? Let me just find you. Where is that? Oh, 1 second. Ghislaine, video details. When did the DOJ? Anthropic. There was something. I wanted to show you. Oh, I think I might have just gone a bit too. Oh, there we go. Here we are. So just to give you an update. Independent, yeah, saying live 11 minutes ago. Andrew Mountbatten, or Andy Mountbatten, formerly known as Prince, as I say, Andrew Mountbatten, Windsor latest. Police issue update on Royal Lodge search after minister calls ex-duke arrogant and entitled. Some ministers are even saying that Andrew needs to face charges for treason. Yeah. And it says here, government not ruling out changes to line of succession in light of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's arrest. Yeah. So they want to end the succession. Let me just see.
Mr. Speaker, with your permission on a separate matter before I conclude, I understand there's been a high level of public interest in the news of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's arrest last Thursday and what may follow. The government is clear that we are not ruling out action in respect of the line of succession at this stage, and we will consider whether any further steps are required in due course. It is vital, however, that we first allow the police to carry out their investigations. I know they will have the full support of the government, and I'm sure this House as they do so. I will return to the House with further updates as I've committed to do so, Mr. Speaker, not just on this issue, but in relation to wider reforms to standards, lobbying, transparency, and the removal of peerages in due course. And I commend this statement to the House.
Yeah. Right. So you see, stuff is kicking off. Police have issued a major update over the searches of Royal Lodge. That's where Prince Andy used to live. Following the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, in a statement on Tuesday evening, Thames Valley's police confirmed searches have been conducted at the ex-prince's former residence at Royal Lodge in Berkshire. They added the investigation is ongoing, but said any updates are unlikely to be for some time. It comes after the government backed the Lib Dems' attempt to force public release of files related to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's appointment as trade envoy. He was envoy for trade for about 10 years. During the debate, Trade Minister Sir Chris Bryant slammed the ex-prince as arrogant and entitled. The former prince was arrested last Thursday on suspicion of misconduct in public office after being accused of sharing sensitive information with paedophile financier Jeffrey Epstein while serving as the UK's trade envoy. Yeah, people are calling this now in the UK treason. Yeah, this is treasonous. He was later arrested under investigation. Mr. Mountbatten Windsor vehemently denied any wrongdoing in his links with Epstein and has rejected allegations that he made any personal gain from his trade envoy role. On Monday, Lord Peter Mandelson was arrested. So this is yesterday. Lord Peter Mandelson was arrested on suspicion of misconduct in a public office. On Tuesday, his lawyers released a statement saying the arrest followed baseless claims he was planning to flee the country. So we're seeing here consequences. So soon he's going to have the Lord title stripped away from him. And we could be seeing the instance where if both men are charged, they will go on trial and both could potentially go to prison. Yeah. So if you see here in the recommended bit, it's saying Australia backs growing calls to remove Andrew Mountbatten Windsor from the line of succession. New Zealand will support removal of Andrew from line of succession. Yeah. And then, so what does this mean? Basically, like I said, Andy is finished. He is finished. He's going to be thrown under every bus they can at the bus station. Yeah, every bus they can at the bus station. He is finished. If he faces charges, they could actually be very serious. I think if a legal case is put against him, he's going to end up in prison. And in which case he would be the first royal ever to be imprisoned. And technically he's the first royal to be arrested, because there was an arrest of a royal who was seen as he wasn't even really like he was like the bastard son of some king. So he was technically a prince, but he wasn't. And it was to do with trying to overthrow a king and all of this kind of stuff. And he was arrested. But that was over 350 years ago. Yeah, I can't remember when. It's 1600 and loose change. Yeah. This is even more significant and scandalous in the sense because this is happening in living memory. And this is for misconduct in a public office. And you could even potentially be charged with people trafficking as well. So imagine. Yeah. So the royal family has just got to absolutely denounce, disown, and just whatever happens, but there's no coming back after this. There was never any coming back anyway, but you can see heads are truly rolling. Peter Mandelson as well could also face criminal charges. I think his one might be a little bit more tricky, but mind you, they've got all the emails and all of that stuff. Either way, I think they're going to be, they're being thrown under the bus, quite rightly, as they should be. Yeah. In the UK, yes, things like money and stuff like that matters, like it does in every country in the world. But let me tell you, money isn't all that matters in the UK. So there is something that matters more, which is honor and prestige and reputation. And whenever a person in public office brings their office or the institution or the country that they're representing into disrepute, that is taken extremely seriously in the UK. And it is usually career ending. And this is not only career ending for Prince Andrew, or formerly known as Prince, because he's no longer known as a prince. He's 8th in line of succession of the throne. And now they're talking about him being removed. And it has to be, for him to be removed from the line of succession, the Commonwealth countries have to agree. And that is what's happening right now. So this is unprecedented. This has never happened before. In UK history. And you remember what I was saying? I was saying, guys, yeah, snip, snip, yeah, K2 is in the sign of Leo. So let's do share screen. And then let's do entire screen. Let's do that. And then let me get you up here. And then let's just do file, new birth chart. We're just going to do today. Yeah, we're just going to call it today. So you can just see where the planets are right now. 24th of the 2nd. Let's just do USA, Washington DC district. We'll just have it as that. So here we are. Now, here you can see, now look at this extraordinary lineup in Sidereal Aquarius. We've got Mars, we've got the Sun, we've got Rahu, we've got Venus, we've got Mercury. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planet stellium. Aquarius deals with community. Aquarius deals with the world, humanity in general. Yeah, it's a sign of, it's associated with everyone being equal. But it's not just that, it's everyone. It is rich, poor, middle class, the whole shebang. Distribution systems of all kinds. But in essence, it deals with groups and organizations of all kinds, humanity. The Sun deals with leadership. Yeah, Rahu and Ketu are what? Eclipses. Over here, you can see over here, we've got the Neptune-Saturn conjunction, which is now moving further apart. They came exactly together on the 20th of February, yeah? But before that as well, on the 17th, we also had the eclipse, but they were basically at the same degrees, six degrees. Saturn moves faster than Neptune. You can see Saturn is moving off here. Neptune is what? Illusions and delusions, secrets, scandals, drink, drugs, the unreal appearing real. Saturn is the what? Planet of what? Government, of reality. And as you know, I've been saying repeatedly, repeat after me, I said illusions and delusions will be destroyed at this time. We will see the breakdown, yeah, because Neptune is known as the great dissolver. Saturn deals with what? Traditions, institutions, government. I said we're going to see the breakdown of institutions and governments. Rules, regulations not being observed. Yeah. So on one hand, yep, Saturn is coming, bringing that reality check. Think of the UK and all of its ancient traditions and stuff. Yeah, the lineage, royal succession, all of this stuff. This is very Saturnian stuff. Yeah, the things, the classics, the things that endure, the things that last. What is bringing these things? What are breaking these things down? These Neptunian things. Yeah, the scandals, the secrets are coming out. All the lying. Yeah. But what's happening in America? Yeah, not much yet, really. Frankly, you guys know this. I'm not going to rub it in, but you see how the rest of the world is responding, and you see how America Congress is responding, and it's piss poor. Yeah, piss poor. Nothing pretty much is happening. So here, in the way, it's almost like the Neptunian energy is more dominant. Yeah, they're still trying to what? Maintain the illusion, the delusion of it all. They are doing what? Gaslighting everyone. Yeah, Neptune is the planet of gaslighting. Why? He deals with film, photography, theater, the unreal appearing real. Yeah, or they're presenting fake arguments, lies, and just trying to cover them up. Well, you can't even really call it covering up because it's blatant now. Yeah, so they've come together. The last time that Saturn and Neptune were together was about 37 years ago, in 1989, and that's when we saw the fall of the Berlin Wall. Yeah, fall of the Berlin Wall. The USSR collapsed. So this can do with, literally can do with a nation collapsing in some shape or form. This conjunction is also very prominent as well and significant for Russia. Whenever there's Neptune conjunctions, oppositions, it tends to be quite tricky for Russia. But this can also be talking about other nations other than Russia. Look what's going on in the United States, the moral bankruptcy, yeah, of these people in power. It's just cheating, yeah, lying, scandals of all kinds. This is the Epstein files. This is all happening in Trump's 8th house, by the way. Here it is with Ceres, and here it is with Chiron, the wounded healer. Yeah. So there's that. But let's us not forget K2. Yeah, let's not forget K2. Here is K2 in sidereal Leo. And he would have moved into sidereal Leo. Let me just do the stop share because I don't want this all just to be completely taking up the screen. It would have moved into sidereal Leo in sort of like May of 2025, yeah, rather than K2, change signs in May of 2025. In Western tropical astrology, they change later because in Western tropical, they're actually behind their true placements. But in Western tropical with the planets, they're actually ahead of their true placements. Yeah, everything is, you know, topsy-turvy. Anyway, and I warned people, do you remember I said, guys, when K2 moves into sidereal Leo, I said we're going to see a lot of endings of prominent and powerful people. Leo represents leaders, CEOs, celebrities, famous people, artists, performers, also as well what? Royalty. Look what has transpired since. Yeah, not only is Andrew no longer royal, he's no longer a prince, he's going to be removed from the line of succession. Yeah, then he will basically be a commoner at that point. So it's kind of like he's no longer a prince, but he's still technically royal. Once he's removed from the line of succession, that is it. He is essentially a commoner at that point. And his full demise pretty much will be almost complete, unless, of course, he's put in prison, which there is a high likelihood that could be the case. The UK holds the archetype for royalty around the whole world. But guess what? It's not just the British royalty. Norwegian royalty is also being shook by earthquakes because the current princess, who is currently in line to become queen, she was a commoner, as they say. She wasn't from royal blood. She actually used to be a waitress, actually, believe it or not. But guess what? She was connected with Epstein. Her son is very, very dodgy indeed. Very dodgy indeed. 1 in 4 SA charges and drugging people and all of this kind of stuff. And his father was, you know, a bit of a criminal background and all of this stuff. So she had a son before she married the prince of Denmark. Her and the prince have gone on to have 2 more children, which are part of, obviously, the part of the royal succession. But they're saying because of the scandals around her connections to Epstein and that of the son, they're saying she can no longer become queen. Oh, yeah. So we're seeing there are consequences happening around the world. And of course, CEOs, all of this stuff, France, all over the world, people have to step down, leaving shame and stuff. Of course, except for the United States so far. So that lets you know, doesn't it, about the USA. Again, not to blame you. You don't have to take this personally. This isn't you don't have to carry this burden, because people will go, well, I didn't vote for this and blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not talking about you as the individual. I'm just saying this, unfortunately, is reflecting what? On the United States, just like how Andy Mountbatten is reflecting on the royal family, which is also a representative of the UK. So we're getting the slaps as well. It's just here you're seeing like some consequences. Anyway, so there's that. So Ghislaine talked about that. Also as well, what is also interesting, I just think you might find this interesting here. Let's find the stuff on, where's the, here we are. I'll click on this for you. So just so you know here, Beyonce loses Instagram followers. So reports emerging on early February 2026 that Beyonce experienced a significant and rapid decrease in Instagram followers, with some reports claiming a loss of roughly 10 to 12 million followers. Cause the drop in followers appears to be linked to online controversy and backlash surrounding her husband, Jay-Z, whose name was mentioned in the documents related to Jeffrey Epstein case. Timing. Reports of the decline began circulating around February 1st, 2026, with some sources claiming the drop occurred within a 12-hour window scale, while some reports claimed a loss of 10 to 12 million, taking her count from over 320 million to around 308 million. These figures are based on viral online claims. So look, Beyonce is still gonna be able to afford to be in fur and diamonds, you know, for the rest of her life. You know, she's still got just over 300 million followers, but this is just showing as well how there are these ramifications here, because Leo deals with what? Fame. Yeah. What K2 is doing, yeah, that snip snip, what does this mean? K2 is the moksha kaka, which means liberation from this world. K2 doesn't give a damn about wealth, fame, success, nothing. What K2 cares about is integrity, moksha, liberation from this world, spirituality. And as you guys know, I've said before, I said we're going to see anyone who's been doing wrongdoing, anyone who's not been ethical, anyone who's not been helping humanity, they're going to be cut down. Almost said slain there, but oh, you never know. They're going to be cut down. Their power is going to be weakening. They're going to be exposed, yeah, because K2 is a very karmic planet, just like Saturn is very karmic as well. Pluto can also deal with karmas too, but K2 can be very karmic because it's everything to do with the past, yeah, the past actions. But however, those that are, like I've said this before, those that are upholding spirituality, those that are doing good for others, those that are leaders with good intent, because Leo is still leadership. What K2 will do is K2 will uplift those people. Yeah, those people will get uplifted because they're bringing virtue into the world, spirituality in the world. This is a great time as well to look at your ancestry, your roots, your lineage. Many people around the world are going to be discovering their lineage, their true lineage, their genes, where they come from. Yeah, even over people who have not known their lineage for hundreds of years. Yeah, people are going to be discovering who they truly are. We're going to be learning, we're going to be getting revelations about history. The timelines of history will be changed. People are going to realize a lot of these timelines that we've been led to believe are not necessarily true. Now, listen, I'm not a giant conspiracy theorist and all of this kind of stuff, but we're going to need to talk about Egypt and then pyramids, because let me tell you, there is quite a lot of evidence to say that those pyramids are much more than like 3,000 to 5,000 years old. Let me tell you that. Just by the wear and tear of the patina on the Sphinx alone says, I think they're saying it might be 20 or 30,000 years old, something like that, when it basically used to line up with that, pretty much with that whole constellation of Leo. Anyway, that is for other videos, and you can ask me about that in the comments. What else did I want to talk about? AI bubble. Oh yeah, let me just share with you. Let me just share with you MIT study. I think I may have shared this before, because you know I've got to have my little AI bash. But it's not for no reason. It's a good reason. All right, here we go. So this is from Fortune, yeah, which obviously they know about these kind of things. MIT report. So the famous MIT, I think it's based in New York, America. 95% of generative AI pilots at companies are failing. 95%, yeah. So, oh, look, there we are. That's what's his face. Let me just pause. I forget what his name is. It's anyway. So anyway, the Gen AI divide, state of Gen of AI in business 2025. A new report published by MIT's NANDA initiative reveals that while generative AI holds promise for enterprises, most initiatives to drive rapid revenue growth are falling flat. Despite the rush to integrate powerful new models, about 5% of AI pilot programs achieved rapid revenue acceleration. The vast majority stall, delivering little to no measurable impact on P&L. The research, based on 150 interviews with leaders, a survey of 350 employees, an analysis of 300 public AI deployments paints a clear divide between success stories and stalled projects. Yeah, so basically it doesn't work. It's not fit for purpose. So we have to ask ourselves questions. Yeah, why are they still pushing this stuff? Yeah, why are they still pushing this stuff? I'm going to show you something interesting. Let's just run another tape here. Now, look, this is what my personal belief of what this AI is. And when I tune in with the energy, first of all, they just want to collect everyone's data. It's almost like when I tune in, it's almost like a Noah's Ark of everyone's emotions, thoughts, feelings, fears, angers, obsessions, sexual preferences, monetary preferences or struggles or woes. Because remember, everyone is doing what? Yeah, they're all talking to the AI, divulging their deepest secrets. Yeah, especially the younger generation. This is all being collected. It's all being collected. Yeah. And what I think this is about, this for me is about disenfranchisement. Yeah, you got to remember these tech bros are also part of the whole Epstein stuff as well. And these people, they do not give a damn. For me, this is what this is about. It's about human disenfranchisement. I see AI as a divinity blocker. What do I mean by that? I mean, what they do is they're extracting our divinity from us, everything that makes us human, and they want to turn it into a facsimile. Yeah. And basically, ultimately, you know, replace people. Yeah, that's basically what they want to do. So let me just see here. Let me just see. I'm just going to see if I can find that clip. Let me do history. I'm going to find a clip for you. Where is it? Where is that clip? Ah, this is it. This is it. Let me just click on this. There might be an advert. Yeah. Right. Did you hear that? Where you can clone your own voice and all of this stuff. You see what this is about? This is about basically, the way I see it is, this is about replacing human genius, human divinity. Yeah. Now I'm going to play you something here. Now this is Sam Altman, who is basically the CEO of ChatGPT. This is from a media source, independent media source that does things. They're kind of liberal and they discuss stuff. Anyway, I'm going to play this for you. Sound is enabled. Just listen to this, and then I'm going to read on Trump's health.
Of data centers has become a political hot potato for the AI industry.
Wait, just to get the first bit. Oh, fuck. Oh.
A political hot potato for the AI industry.
He was talking about the energy it requires.
Data centers famously gobble up both electricity and water, and some areas near new data centers have seen a hike in bills. But OpenAI's Sam Altman has said criticism of AI's energy use aren't fair.
One of the things that is always unfair in this comparison is people talk about how much energy it takes to train an AI model relative to how much it costs a human to do one inference query. But it also takes a lot of energy to train a human. It takes like 20 years of life and all of the food you eat during that time before you get smart. And not only that, it took like the very widespread evolution of the 100 billion people that have ever lived and learned not to get eaten by predators and learned how to like figure out science and whatever to produce you. And then you took whatever you took. So the fair comparison is if you ask ChatGPT a question, how much energy does it take once its model is trained to answer that question versus a human? And probably AI has already caught up on an energy efficiency basis measured that way.
Well, that's reassuring. Don't worry about AI's energy use, because if we really care about energy use, we could kill the people. So we'll have less of us. I mean, I think the argument he's trying to make, well, I don't know what argument. If you were being incredibly generous, you would say he was responding to a kind of point, which is saying, AI is not that impressive because if you have this much energy, then you can make something intelligent. We did it ourselves. Now, AI is very impressive. Like, regardless of the amount of energy it uses, it is an impressive technology. I say this all the time. But the criticism of AI's energy use is that we might want to use that energy for something else.
Like living.
And he's saying, well, if you want to save energy, it's the people who are remarkably inefficient. Helena, do you like the implications of that argument?
I mean, it's real kind of part and parcel of how much brain worms you have to have imbibed before you kind of are allowed into the kind of tech bro sphere in terms of how you perceive the concept of humanity, insofar as I think a lot of us, especially on the political left, maybe, we view things that are done both in terms of the economy and politically to serve the interests of people. We have this humanistic understanding of how human society functions, and then we want to build an economy on top of that that serves the interest of people. Whereas if you become so captured by cultural neoliberalism, where you commodify everything to the point at which you think of, well, how can something be treated as solely as an economic unit, including people themselves, and go, well, this economic unit uses as much energy as this economic unit that isn't human, and therefore you can make a comparison as such. The only way in my mind I think you can ever get to that position in the first place is if you just don't perceive human life as having value outside of an economic interaction and go, well, energy costs money, we have to produce energy, but why would we spend energy on people when we can produce something that is better in terms of this economic output? I'm like, well, machines are just economic output, but humans are rational actors who have all sorts of hopes and dreams that they want to use economic access to be able to fulfill. And that's my position when it comes to how we build an economy. I think it's broadly how most people in the chat probably agree as well about how to build an economy, is for the concept of increasing human flourishing. But it appears in the tech bro realm, the creation of a better future only involves human flourishing by happenstance. It only will happen to involve those things if that is how the market mechanisms direct that it should. And if that isn't a kind of base assumption of right-wing economics and neoliberalism and a kind of almost religious belief in market logic as the defining characteristic of human society, and then I don't know what else is.
Yeah, I mean,
there. And I think she absolutely encapsulated a lot of the things that I've been talking about with this stuff. These people are psychopaths. They have created AI not for human benefit. And they've been saying, oh, cure for cancer and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, sure. If they applied it in that way, but they're not. They gobble up tons of energy. They gobble up tons of water. That's Sam Altman there. And you can see what his attention is. And that's why I'm saying this is why we're in such a dangerous time, because they view the human experience, human life, as irrelevant, as inferior. yet they copy everything about human life and try and sell it back to us, trying to disenfranchise all of humanity. So even in that clip, I don't know if you saw or heard the advert, but the advert was like, yeah, clone your voice, speak into this thing, and I'll turn it into singing. So what happens to singers, artists, musicians, the people that would buy drum kit, microphones, all of that industry, if you can just spew it out with some kind of AI slop version of that? Do you see? So I am very, very passionate about these things, but you know, I had to just get on my thingy bob there. Right, let's do a quick read on Trump. Trump is looking absolutely haggard, beat up. You heard me say before, I said he knows he's on his way out. Do you remember? I said he's had the dreams. He knows that he is going. On Midas Touch, I think they were just talking about how Duck Larange was saying, you know, I don't think I've got very long. Yeah, he's saying he's like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to heaven. Yeah, of course you're bloody not going to heaven. Of course you're not bloody going. That's why Epstein in the dream is running around like the clappers, trying to burn off as much karma as he can to have these people face accountability while they're still alive. This is why this Epstein file stuff is not going to end. Oh, jumper. Card jumped out. Eight of Pentacles. That's what Epstein's doing, working hard on the other side, yeah, to bring out all the revelations and scandals. Well, let's see what's going on with the orange windbag. Now, you guys know I've said already. I said his health will continue to deteriorate, particularly as Jupiter comes closer to exaltation, which will be happening on June 1st officially. But especially, I mean, it's already bad. Once we hit March, and then that we're in that America's Dasher, you know, I've been saying, where K2 starts driving the car, Snip is going to start driving the car. This is when we're going to see all the wheels. I mean, it's already coming off already, all the AI BS. I think, what is it called? Anthropic was already saying that it's been sort of like hacked by the other AI. So they're all starting to attack each other for supremacy. You've got the AI bubble will be bursting, or there'll be some major correction as well in, you know, stock market, all of that stuff. As Jupiter continues closer and closer to exaltation, as it gets closer to Trump's sidereal Saturn, where it's placed in his chart, there will be issues with the health. Like I said, they're going to start calling. It's going to go either three ways. Either he's going to be at the lectern and he's going to go like that. Yeah. So imagine, I said this on the private chat. You know, when he does his yeah, I think it's going to be one of his yeah. And that's it. There'll be that. Or they're going to be, Grandpa, take your hands off the wheel, and they're going to be like, no, he's too far gone. JD Vance needs to come in and all that stuff. That's probably the most logical one. Although that may not play well with the electorate. Or the other one is that he escapes. Yeah, goes abroad. And I think it's just one of those threes. I still think it's going to be the escape thing, but we'll have to see. But that, what's going to happen, what's happening now is there is so much pressure on Trump. And remember, like I said, they will keep him until this, and I said, the second he's not earning them money anymore, the second they're losing money, that's when they'll get rid. So let's see what's coming up for Duck Larange. Sweating, looking tired. I think he's exhausted. In my coffee with Hoagie that we did on Sunday, we did a read on Trump, and all the cards were coming through. He is exhausted. He is so tired. He brought, what is it, John Barron back into action, calling up, pretending to be the agent John Barron. Oh God, it's just over, man. Duck Larange, Duck Larange, Duck Larange, Duck Larange. Let's get over Duck Larange. Yes, Jupiter gets closer to exaltation. Starts going direct. And Howard Lutnick, oh my God. You know, he's got a company, I can't remember what it's called now, but his sons basically run it. And he's put a bet against the tariffs, basically put bets in place so that when the tariffs are removed, which the Supreme Court has just struck down, he'll make profit on that way. So he's made the profit on both sides, imposing the tariffs, which was a tax on the US citizens. They've grabbed up all the money. Now they're going to have to be compensated and paid back. Do you think any American's going to see a single dollar of that? I don't think so. I mean, that's what should happen. Every American should be paid 2,000 whatever dollars it is that they're owed in kind for all of the increases. But no, it's obviously going to be sucked up into the pockets. Ah, the corruption is just astonishing. Oh, look at this White House. Ah, right. Let's get some clarifiers on this. Yeah, he's going to have to make a choice, guys. He's going to have to make a choice. Oh. He's going to have to make a choice. Okay, what's the details on that? What's the details of this choice that Declaron has to make? The details of the choice Dr. Branch has to make. What does he have to do? All right. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Makes absolute sense. All right. So straight off the bat, look, I'm talking about Trump. Straight away, my card for the White House shows up. So this is the White House. This can be talking about Trump in the White House, but this can also be talking about his personnel and his staff. Their tongues are wagging. Yeah, they're like, shoot, how much longer can we carry on with this? Yeah, that's what they're worried about. If you look here in the obstacle position, you have, but actually the first card is positive. So this is reinforcing. This is the Magician card. This is, because we're talking about politics, this can talk about power. It can talk about self-determination, will, being prepared to use every single tool in the box. The shadow of this card is manipulation. So those around him, the White House, the staff, are going to continue to keep manipulating Trump so that they can get what they want out of him, like the Howard Lutnicks, J.D. Vance, Stephen Miller, all of that cabal. Yeah. If we look here, we get the Ace of Cups, which can actually normally deal with satisfaction, emotional fulfillment, peace, happiness, but for who and in what context? If we look here, we get the Emperor card. Yeah, this is Trump wanting to be that emperor, that leader. But this is also him as well, how useful he is to other powerful males and patriarchs. So I think they're quite happy. In fact, when we look at it that way, when I read that backwards, I think that is much more to do with foreign powers. So if we look here, we've got the Judgment card. So this is the wake-up call. Yeah, this is the revelations. This is the Epstein files, all of that stuff going on. I'm going to read the cards backwards, which I like to do from time to time. What is the other countries have the judgment calls on Trump? Yeah, and obviously we're seeing the judgment of leaders happen, but it affects him and his presidency directly. With the Ace of Cups, it's showing the intimate and emotional nature of these revelations, which of course will cause Trump immense pain. But let's think about the victims as well and everything that they've been through. This is one of the main tools that is used to manipulate Trump to get them to do what he wants. Yeah, if you think about Russia, if you think about Netanyahu, you know, Israel, everyone's getting what they want. Even the Iranians are like, yeah, you bomb us, we're going to pull some levers. Yeah, and that's going to affect what ultimately the White House, yeah, the seat of power, that Four of Wands, putting the clarifications for Trump. In what ways, what is he fearing in terms of his judgment? So here, look, we've got the Five of Cups, which deals with what? Loss, betrayal. You'll notice here the spilt cups here, spilt blood. Yeah, it will just reveal the most everything. What else will be revealed? If you look here, the devil, yeah, the depravity, the demonic nature of what has happened. Yeah, this is literally demonic. Yeah, this is the Epstein files and all of this kind of stuff. And what he's worried about is, yeah, can he win? Yeah, it's like the demonic methods he's going to use to try and even win. I think this is him wanting to try and basically manipulate the midterms as well. We're already talking about in the British press over here, maybe not so much in the USA, but he's working very hard to try and manipulate. He wants to avoid losing the midterms, yeah, and he's prepared to use every single trick he can in the book to try and win. But these are also the wins that other nations and persons are having over Trump because of his terrible actions, and Trump is feeling distraught about it, yeah, feels betrayed, yeah. So we should always think about the victims, and Duck Larange and all of them just deserve absolutely everything that they can get thrown at them. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. That was quite a wide-ranging video. I hope you found that interesting. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please be sure as well to like and subscribe and to share. If you want to join my Sundays with Coffee with Hoagie, then go onto my website, which will be linked below, and you go to consultations. And you scroll down, you see Coffee with Hoagie. And of course, all my consultations there and all of that other stuff. My retreats, November 1st to the 4th of May, 2026 in Ibiza, Agua Madeira. I think there's about 2 rooms left, something like that, if I remember correctly. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you guys found that interesting, and wow, what times we live in, folks, huh? What times we live in. So this is just bonkers. It's just absolutely bonkers. It's absolutely crazy. But I want you to remember that this is also a purge, yeah? New leadership is emerging. A new global order is emerging. And I don't think it's going to be the image in the way that those in power in America would have hoped. Because in many ways, the world has moved on. Everything is reconfiguring. Everything is reshaping. Like I said, honest, powerful leadership, that is what is going to be rewarded, and ultimately that is where people will win. Yeah, so anyway, big love everyone. I will leave it there, and of course I will